We're back at it again. I will probably not post the video that I recorded last night for like an hour. I had 3 days of fucking nothing. I think the only thing that happened was that I bought the swim trunks from the souvenir shop. I think that's the only actual event that happened. So the Discord overlay pop up my top left when it's like, like, oh, like this person played this like recently and this is how long they played it. I don't want to know what Discord is saying about me playing this game. I have absolutely no desire to hear what that bitch has to say about me. Okay. Oh, I also had the shrine. I just did the gambler. Which I guess actually wouldn't be that bad if we did again. Is we'll see. What we're trying to do is that we're trying to get all the classrooms. That's going to be our goal. Or the other one, I've thought about this with the reservoir puzzle. Shrine. I think it's just 3 coins. Yeah. Um. So I've thought about like how do we because the reservoir puzzle. So I think what we need to do is I think I have to drain the fountain and also get the reservoir to some number, like to where like we can use it to like a wish fucking so um brain. But we drain this, we then get the reservoir to like I feel like the hardest number to get to be would be like exactly one below the maximum. So for that, I think we need another situation where we have the boiler room and the um pump room next to each other. So I need the pool and then a boiler and pump room next to each other. So that means I need reroll dice. So it's we're making money moves today, you know? If you ever get the upgrade option for the closet, make it a hall closet. You'll get so much more value out of it than I have in my lifetime. You interest me. I'm going pantry. I don't think I have the capacity for the block power as it relates to the Sanctum Key puzzle. That's right, this counts as a shop. Warehouse steak showroom. Okay, interesting. Somebody said that I didn't have keys. What will it be now? I thought that was the dead face dude. Okay, pretty good room. Pretty good observatory. Kind of nice knowing the save in this room, because that means that this room is basically free now. Oh, or what? 5. I was trying to think of like where else we could find these letters. I feel like there has to be one in the master bedroom that I missed. Or like maybe it's the throne room actually, because I don't think we've been in the throne room. I think I've gotten it, well, every time I've gotten it, I've never had enough gems for it. That was definitely me, like Loki trying to manifest. That Rumpus Room interests me actually, because I want to see what happens if I try to give money to Alazara, because he said that he's done. Can't give him any money. Damn, gamed all of everything. Can I break him open to get the money back I gave this asshole? I was hoping there was going to be a mechanic to be like, was there any fortune you wish to be retold or something like that? That's what I was wishing for. I definitely did not write that shit down. Definitely did not do that. You know what? Breaker Box interests me, but Commissary gives us more money. I'm doing Breaker Box, sue me. Cutting this shit off immediately. Oh wait, I also need to turn off the gymnasium because then we can draft it without consequence. Which makes no sense. It's like, oh, if the lights are off in the gym, you don't lose the extra steps. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. Okay. Extra steps, please. Thank you so much. Enjoy your lunch. Will be locked. It's like I'm an empath. Those really been like not giving me a lot of stuff. Free? Oh yeah, those shops say. Oh. Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh, I came to the armory the other day, and I was trying to be like, oh, like let me like I had a room that like had like a high gem cost. I'm like, oh, like let me just slash it, and then the armory had this, and then the torch, and I was so pissed. Dinner's ready. Here we go. Cool. Beautiful. Oh. Swim trunks? A botch? Interesting. I didn't know this was possible. That's right, I used the axe immediately. I always forget this. What do we know has a gem cost to it? The aquarium. Okay, it'll say on there. Okay. Yeah, we'll do Cloister Bruno. Axed. That's good. I forget that you can use that like immediately. I have no more keys, I've just now realized. And I realized that at the appropriate time. I had 2 more sets, I'd buy that Morning Star. When we get the showroom, we get the showroom. I'm not too worried about it, honestly. If it's my comeuppance, then, you know, sue me. Yeah, that checks out. So south, I guess, we can just grab from the bottom of the drawing room. We get at least one free reroll from this. Oh, I might post it for this. I did get a locker room, and I did, like, have the ability to, like, cycle between keys and coins, and it got me, like, 50 fucking keys, basically. And I unlocked all the lockers, so that was fun. If I'm ever able to do that again, I absolutely will. Oh, and I drafted this book. I guess we get to read this book. Curse of Blackbridge by Redford Ewing. I learned that there was a pseudonym from the locker rooms as well. What was it? Notes. Kirk Darren. I don't know what that's a pseudonym for. I haven't sat down to figure that out. The Legend of Blackbridge is one that's well known to the people of the Grand Realm. Versions of the tale have been passed down from generation to generation. With each new telling, the story has changed, becoming over the years more colorful, more verbose, and as one might expect, increasingly horrifying. However, with so many renditions and unique personal touches, the task of combining and binding this tale to text seemed an ambitious and impossible challenge. Over the course of my research, there were dozens of variations of the legend, and while the details would often change, I was surprised how much of the story's heart remained the same. But the more I listened, the clearer it became that there would never be a definitive version of this tale capable of capturing all the wonder and myth of Blackbridge. In the end, I chose to write down what felt most authentic, the story my grandmother told me as a boy long ago. So I did all this research, and I said, fuck these people. The Berry Picker from Horse. Oh, there's a shrine offering that's called Berry Picker. Interesting. Many years ago, before peace had become a familiar word, there lived a group of rogues so wayward that the locals deemed it appropriate to call their number the Unholy Hounds. They were feral outlaws of society's worst at a time when society was at its worst. For each crime, the fearful travelers credited to their group, a dozen more lay unclaimed, each more worse than the last. For the gentry, however, who valued their coffers more than their companions, no crime would measure more wicked than the group's primary enterprise, high road robbery. One such member of this so-called band of rogues was a boy of 13 years, Jesper, who had not been lucky in life, having lost two brothers to war and parents to famine. The years of hunger that followed, Jesper lived in a gutter behind a churchyard, relying on the nourishment of scurrying bugs and weeds harvested from the cracks of the alleyway to sustain his pitiful existence. It's not surprising that a child aiming to escape such hardships would take any easy road out. An easy and well-traveled road paved with temptations, leading out of the city and into the gentry lands, where loose purse strings entwined with the strands of salvation and glisten equally with the hope of opportunity. It was this road that eventually led Jesper to the end of his youth, a hidden cave at the bottom of the Blackbridge Canyon. It was there that he met his surrogate family and saviors, the notorious gang Goblins Outlaws known as the Unholy Hounds. Despite the hardening circumstances that had led him to this vocation of banditry, Jesper was surprisingly tender-hearted and was often teased by the group for being too kind for such an ignoble life. For this reason, Jesper was assigned the innocent role of berry picker. It was not just innocence that set berry picking apart from the gang's more wicked undertakings, for it was the only duty performed without the safety of night's concealment. Jesper, no stranger to solitude, did not protest that he alone worked while the others slept soundly. Tucked away in the cave at the bottom of the Blackbridge Canyon, on one such occasion, Jesper decided to get an early start. He left the cave, berry basket in hand, set onto the woods before the morning sun had even brushed against the tallest treetops. It was colder in the mornings, but the headway dawn afforded meant Jesper could reach the furthermost berry patches without worrying of being chastised for tarrying upon his return. It took over 3 hours on foot to reach his destination, and along the way, Jesper had passed by many a familiar bush, all priorly pillaged and so bereft of berries that one would have to dedicate several moments in earnest examination before finding a single one. Jesper was patient, but even patience has its limits. He was confident that even accounting for the time lost to this long stretch of travel, endeavors would be well worth the pains. Surveying the patches in his new grove surprised even Jesper. Red dots suspended among the leaves seemed as numerous as stars in the skies. Upon seeing such a bounteous sight, he clutched his berry basket tightly and nearly toppled out of joy. Once he had regained his senses, Jesper quickly made a decision. He would not reveal the location of this newfound treasure. Instead, he would earn the respect of his confederates who, upon seeing his yield, might attribute the success to hard work. Smiling at his plan, Jesper set off to fill his basket and was making steady strides in this task when the sound of thundering hooves interrupted him. A carriage! A carriage is approaching. The thought of it made Jesper freeze. Had he been so enchanted by his discovery that he had neglected to observe his surroundings? How could a roadway be so close? He ducked down and crept toward the impending sound, hiding behind one of the larger bushes nearby. It was only a moment more before the sound's source revealed itself. Within 50 paces of where Jesper hid, an elegant carriage with gold trim came soaring around a corner of trees, led by two beautiful white horses, and conveyed by a stern-looking driver seated atop the vehicle, flaunting the most sophisticated regalia Jesper had ever seen. It was not just any carriage, it was a royal carriage. Even without ever having witnessed such a sight before, Jesper was certain. The sight had so transfixed Jesper that he stood awestruck, unable to tear away as the carriage approached. The little concealment the bush provided was soon proven unequal to the driver's lofty perch. Upon spotting the boy, he pulled the reins with such effect that the noble steed slid to a sudden halt with precise control. "You, boy, get out from that bush," he shouted, with a rigidity that betrayed a modest amount of fear. "You startled me half to death coming round the bend on my own drive, and me seeing such an unfamiliar face in a place where there ought not to be any face." Jesper quickly contemplated running. The man was much older, and his dress was suitable for courtly behavior, not dashing through the bramble and mud. I was picking berries," Jesper raised the half-filled basket up to allow the driver to see the proof of his words. The demeanor of the man suddenly changed. It was a change that Jesper was familiar with. He'd many times seen the same stern expressions on the most fiendish bandits melt away when presented with a berry basket. Any suspicions the drivers might have had instantly evaporated, for even the notion of a member of the unholy hounds picking berries seemed farcical. Soft expression even made allowances for a smile. "Berries, eh? Say, you couldn't have picked a better spot for them, could you? I used to pick berries here as a boy." Jesper took his cue to finally step forward out from behind the bush, proudly brandishing his basket. "I know, and what luck I found them. I've only just begun picking, and look how many I have. It would have taken me fourfold the time back home to procure this number." The driver bent down for a closer look. "And where is your home, boy? It must be quite far." Jesper replied with a script response. "A little south of Tanner Fork, just past the burnt woods." "God, that is far. You couldn't have come all this way only this morning." It's true, Tanner Fork was in the exact opposite direction that Jesper had traveled, and while that response would seem perfectly reasonable in a location closer to Blackbirch Canyon, you can see why it might seem less believable here. "Sir, I have traveled much farther for much less profit. I dare say there is no distance yet made by man that would not be worth undertaking for a prize such as these. Surely you have tasted them for yourself." Jesper felt happier with this response as it seemed to amplify the man's smile. "In my youth, often, but perhaps I took it for granted because I never had to travel very far. And even then, my father would always drive us here in our carriage, so I'm ashamed I never had to walk such a stretch to earn an equal reward." It was just for time to smile. "Then let my efforts be reward us both today." He raised the basket even higher. "A taste in memory of your youth, sir." The driver chuckled and removed one glove, bending over the seat to reach down to the basket. And at that moment, his fingers touched the first berry. The dagger in his turn met his throat, cutting through a superficial layer of skin and drawing blood. Jesper caught the man's startled eyes. "And for that taste, I will have your purse, sir, in memory of my youth." That took a turn. The driver's arm had gone stiff, his chin raised and trembling, more frightened than he had ever been before. Whether unable or incapable of speaking, he did not respond to the boy. Perhaps he did not think that his jaw could afford to be engaged at this particular time. Jesper let the basket drop, freeing his other hand to probe the man's pockets. "Do not mistake me, sir. I will not kill you if you give me a cause. Though I will admit, the thought of taking your carriage and leaving you the indignity of walking appeals to me." Unable to find a purse in the man's coat, Jesper pivoted to search the seat under him. "Why have you no purse upon your person?" The driver slowly raised his hand cautiously, pointing towards the carriage door behind him. Jesper lowered the knife's edge. "A small degree," allowing the man to speak, which he did and turned softly. "There's a lockbox in the carriage." "Well, come down then and grant me the courtesy of sparing your life and binding your hands, a concession I assure you of my tender heart, for it would be much easier to slit your throat." The man started to comply, slowly lowering himself from the driver's seat of the carriage. Once down, Jesper guided him away from the carriage to a nearby tree, where he instructed him to get on his knees and put his hands behind his back. Using his inexperience, the man indulged Jesper while he figured out how to adequately bind him. Jesus Christ. Smile and kindness Jesper had seen on this man's face, now nothing more than a distant memory. In their place, cold, dark eyes displaying no emotion. "I wonder, Should I grant you the same clemency you were showing me? Jesper stopped surprising by the question, but ignored it. Secured the final bindings and hastily returned to the carriage. With one hand on the door's handle, he turned back to the man. If there's no lockbox, there will be no clemency. Inside the carriage was surprisingly dusty and unswept, a stark contrast to the elegant and polished golden facade of the exterior. It had apparently been many years since a passenger enjoyed the passage in this vehicle. This all but confirmed what Jesper had suspected. The driver of the carriage was not a Liviade savant in the employ of some greater master. Any curiosity that this observation might have further produced was quickly abandoned upon seeing what rested under the carriage's backseat, a large wooden lockbox. Despite its hefty appearance, the box was surprisingly easy to handle. Within a few minutes, Jesper had dislodged it from its hold and carried it out into the sunlight. Looking the box carefully, two observations were made. Totemic symbols found on all four sides of the box hinted that the box was very old and likely not created by Arindian hands. It reminded him of artifacts from the old world and was presumably crafted in one of the ancient realms. Excuse me. Oh, that looks like the tomb. That looks like the tomb box where the guys that are pastor buried in. Alright, take a drink real quick. Secondly, the box was secured by a rusted yet robust padlock and would not easily open without a key. Jesper looked over to see the driver quietly observing from his indentured position. Do you perhaps have a key you can provide me to open this box? Without much, the driver replied, There is no key to that box. Jesper stood up. Easy enough, then. He headed over to a nearby rock of sizable dimensions and lifted the stone up, carrying it back to the box. If there was ever a time when that lock had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. With one hit, the stone had completely shattered the rusted lock. Bent back down and opened the lid. Inside was an effigy, a crude figure chiseled from stone. Without too much deliberation, Jesper bent down and picked it up, somewhat surprised how heavy it seemed, given how light the box had felt. Having expected to find something more akin to gold or gems, he looked questioningly to the man, hoping to find an explanation. The driver's smile had once again returned. You are cursed, boy, for deadly is the stone. You have opened that which should have never been opened, and you are cursed. Jesper carried the effigy over to the man and shoved it in front of his face. What is it? That's one. Feeling his disappointment rising to anger now, Jesper tightened his grip on the effigy. One what, you mumbling adjutor? I don't know what that means. And in God's name, why have you no purse upon your person? The man did not seem intimidated. One pace. Paused for effect. 12 more and you will be dead. He only had a second to flinch before the effigy struck him in the head and put an end to his cryptic ramblings. If there was ever a time when the old man had been resisted to brute force, it wasn't recent. That's funny. Jesper looked down at the sculpted stone figure, now splattered. Was it cursed? Was he cursed? He had of course heard stories of curses, and had never doubted their validity in the past, but now that he was standing face to face with the possibility of being cursed, his mind pleaded with him to be skeptical. And if he was cursed, what difference would the knowledge make? A dozen more paces would not be enough to find another living soul. Seeing nothing of the chances of procuring a remedy, if he did not move from where he now stood, he could live maybe another 3 or 4 days, maybe more given the abundance of nearby berries. A plan that, if we ignore its obvious faults, might provide additional opportunities for help to come along. But what good would that do? We discovered here that a body, stolen goods in hand, floated from berries, and raving about a curse that could very well not be real. Now, it would most certainly be better to face one's fate now, take a dozen paces and see if life goes on. But Jesper found his legs unable to make that first step. His mind was unable to convince his limb to waste away 1/12 of his life in a single motion. Feeling the desperation sink in, he hopelessly looked about him for a solution. And if, by some stroke of luck, the gods had heard his plea, a miracle materialized before him as he found himself suddenly at the end of a fairy tale. 2 white horses and a carriage of golden trim were beside him. The answer to his immediate prayers, he laughed at his fortune, calculated the short number of paces back to the road. 4. Perhaps only 3 if he jumped. He made a quick survey to see if there was anything he wished to grab before taking the plunge. Thought about removing the driver's fancy coat, as that appeared to be of some value, but the additional risk of undertaking such a task was too great to chance. So after a profound breath, he took his second, third, and fourth steps, though they were quite large. Seated now behind the horses, he reached for the reins and suddenly realized that he was still gripping the effigy. If the curse was real, then it would most certainly be better left here. If, on the other hand, the story was fictitious, there might be some appraisal that could be made of the figure. It was, after all, found within a lockbox whose typical function of off secures objects of value. Having witnessed firsthand the horrors of destitution, Jesper found his mind equally reluctant to allow his hand to let go. If it is cursed, I die. If not today, then tomorrow. And if I die, what care have I? And with that statement said aloud to the horses, seemingly, Jesper took up the reins with confidence. Oh my god. I'm gonna pause the video 1 second while I regain my ability to speak, because good lord, this is long. I did not realize that it was gonna go long. Okay, so it's just 2 parts. Okay, that's fine. I can deal with that. Give me 1 second. Alright, we're back. Part 2, Below the Black Bridge. Miller awoke to some light nudging from a familiar foot. Only one person would have the cheek to awaken her in such ill-mannered fashion. Shaking the sleep from her eyes, she glared up at him in darkness, but did not say a word. He nudged her again, teasingly, then stepped back into the dim. Taking a moment for her eyes to adjust to the darkness of the cave, Miller remembered. She was on third watch today. Quietly collecting her things and wits, Miller turned as she left, waving to her young friend, who was more than likely already asleep. She crept through the cavern's main passage, careful to not wake the sleeping bandits around her. Like a hero in a book, she often mused. Quietly, she grabbed a bow from the haphazardly formed pile of weapons, shaking the accompanying quiver in the darkness to assess how many arrows it held. She then walked towards the sun-drenched mouth of the cavern, ready to start her shift. Above her, in one of the few trees found in the canyon, Miller could see that Ravia was already posted. She waved, and Ravia waved back. Calling out to each other was strictly forbidden. Anything louder than a gesture in the canyon was forbidden. When Miller reached the tree, Ravia lowered a braided rope and pointed to the ground behind her. Miller turned, following the finger, and saw a pail of water resting beside a nearby log. She turned back to Ravia, nodded, and secured the pail to the rope. The pail went up first, and in turn Miller followed. Ravia reached across the ground with water. Miller leaned back to give her space. There was not much room for maneuvering in this tree post, a necessary concession for the concealment the outpost demanded. Ravia tilted the pail up to her mouth, dramatically illustrating how thirsty she had been. Miller laughed silently as water poured out, splashing onto Ravia's face. It was a bit too daring and noisy of a joke, and had the others been around, they would have certainly been scolded for their unwarranted sound. But Miller appreciated the efforts Ravia took to verbalize the silence of the morning. They had been on third watch together for over a month, and during that speechless time, their friendship had grown into something special. Affection was unsurprisingly scarce among the unholy hounds. She had felt camaraderie before, of course, but intimacy never. They're gonna let out. From their elevated vantage, the girls could see both the concealed entrance of the cavern, as well as a clear view of the bridge that spanned across the canyon. Black Bridge was the link between the Gentrylands and the Northern Mountains, the overpass that connected Ortis and Reddington. To the city-faring travelers of the realm, the bridge was an unavoidable crossing. In the day, the task was to ensure that travelers passed by without stopping. At night, the task was to ensure that they do. Like most of her band, Miller preferred the night. The biting glare of the sun might be tolerable to farmhands and bricklayers, but to a cavern house bandit, a source of constant annoyance. In the day, there was no shroud to conceal her expressions, nor to hide her thoughts. She felt exposed. Reva touched her elbow and pointed up. Miller, striving to suppress a budding smile, subtly shook her head in response. There were many signs that the unholy hounds used in lieu of words, but two of them had developed an extended vocabulary. Gestures quietly forged in the shared solitude of their month among the branches. She watched as Ravia shifted, placing her palms flat on the floorboards beneath them. Miller knew what she was trying to say, and shook her head a second time. It was often more fun to pretend not to understand. Ravia rolled her eyes and turned away, looking back to the canyon. Squinting through the leaves, the two girls held still, watching and listening. It was not long until Miller, too, heard the sound of approach. Ravia held up two bent fingers, and a few moments later, two men emerged from the bridge's southern end. They were dressed in a familiar uniform, long gray coats with black facings, white waistcoats, and black tricorn hats. They belonged to local patrol, the Black Guard. Although not an everyday occurrence, the presence of Blackbridge wasn't an unusual sight. It typically indicated an important traveler's impending passage across the bridge. Information that the girls would promptly relay to their leaders as soon as the coast was clear. But this report, while exciting, was rarely acted upon. In Miller's 5 years in the Unholy Hounds, she had never once seen a carriage taken in open daylight when the Black Guard was nearby. The men had nearly reached the bridge's north end when Miller heard the horses, faintly at first, but growing louder with each passing moment. Ravia's eyes met Miller's, the same concern mirrored in each other's expression. This did not sound like the typical carriage. Cautiously approaching the bridge to cross, Instead of the familiar crunch of the high road's gravel, they heard the harsh clattering of hoofbeats against stone. Both girls quickly redirected their attention downward, looking for the foliage. The sounds were not coming from the high road, but from the canyon itself. Horses were coming from below the bridge. In an instant, Miller had knocked an arrow and heard draw her bow. Go! Rabia was gone before the whisper had even left Miller's mouth. The young scout was already sliding down the bank the bank below, racing toward the cave. There was no road that ran below the canyon. There was no reason for numerous horses to be approaching their cave. There was only one reasonable conclusion, and both girls had reached it instantly. Base had been compromised. This was a blackguard attack. The moment the horses came into view, Miller let loose her first arrow. She was surprised to see a carriage. She had expected cavalry, but before she even finished processing that thought, second arrow was in the air. Without a trail, it would be unthinkable for a carriage to traverse such rough terrain, yet she watched as the wheels jolted over the rocky riverbed. A third arrow was now in flight. There would be no need for a fourth. The driver slumped over just moments before the vehicle tipped into a small ditch, slamming to an embankment. Force of this sudden halt immediately shattered the front two wheels and catapulted the driver from his seat. Utterly confused now, Miller quickly glanced over his shoulder to see if any horses were also approaching from the rear. Down in the canyon, the entire horde of the unholy hounds came spilling forth from the earth as if hell itself had suddenly sprung open. The group seemed even more bewildered than Miller, half asleep and tripping over one another in a desperate attempt to engage in an unseen enemy in combat. Miller could see Ravia among their number, the only one looking up at her. Her expression was chilling. There would be no need for her silent gestures to convey what they both now realized. They had made a mistake. The gang's chieftain, Jeffrey Hardslasher, led the others, cautiously approaching the crashed carriage like a suspicious fox would near a baited trap. There were no words exchanged as the group crept forward, customary silence. A dozen or so paces in front of the wreckage lay the far-flung driver, an arrow protruding from his broken body, and beside him a bloodstained effigy carved from stone. I was like, of course it's the boy. Miller was inconsolable. Jesper had always been her favorite. He had always shadowed her in the night, clinging to the hems of her every move. We a child tailed behind an older sibling. Tender-hearted, she had always called him, though deep down she had known that wasn't quite true. His appearance of gentleness concealed a raw, resilient durability that emerged in the most perilous of situations. He had been a flower among the nettles of this cave, but he still had thorns, honed by a grim past and 100 hands of misfortune. They buried him in the darkness in the back of one of the larger cavern rooms. He was interred with a berry basket and a silk handkerchief he had treasured. The serious effigy they had found beside him served as a distinguished gravestone, a marker that stood out as somewhat special among the rows of similar swords marking neighboring plots. No one spoke, not even in whispers. There was nothing to say. Miller woke the next day to a thunder shaking and rattling earth, a far cry from the playful nudging of the previous day. She strained to adjust her eyes, but the choking sting of stirred up dust caused her to flinch. Pang was also in the air. The sound of scurried footsteps and clattering feet filled the space around her. But even in an alarm, silence was louder. What was it that sounded so strange? Miller closed her eyes tight and used her feet to guide her along the passage. The whispers around her were getting louder, and intense voices could be heard ahead. Louder speech than she had ever heard anyone spoke in the canyon. Growing dread grew as Miller approached the mouth of the cave, her eyes now open wide despite the dust. Shouldn't it be day? Miller felt a hand in the darkness pulling at her. It was Ravia. To embrace, and Miller did not need to see her to understand. Ravia placed two bent fingers against Miller's cheek, and with that touch against her face, Miller felt the same sinking feeling from the previous day. Two bent fingers confirmed what Miller had suspected. The girls had forgotten to relay one critical piece of information to the others. An hour or so later, screams began, blood-curdling cries of hopeless desperation. Captain Fodrick Lee of the Blackguard looked down from the ridge of the canyon to the collapsed entrance of the cave. Ah, he grinned. Now they speak. That is fucked. Well, um, so that was that. Oh yeah, been reading for so long, my mouse became idle. Jesus Christ. Ah, and on that note, I would like shovel, please. Thank you. I'm a dumbass. Yeah, there's keys throughout the house, so then with the metal detector, actually, we'll find those easier. For some reason, I thought we were gonna be able to go through there, so that's my fault. Sure. Oh. Interest. Level. I'm gonna risk the box over here. You roll dice? Money. Oh, here. Alright, this is it. It looks like this isn't a dead end, but it is. Alright, we have 6, I guess 7 chances to get the pump room here. where's our one random coin on the ground? Yep, knew it. Fucking knew it. The reason I chose this, by the way, is that I thought that I'd be able to, like, it would go through here as well, so we'll see. Please work. Please have worked. Oh my god, it worked. Where's our random coin on the ground game? Just tell me where it is. Oh, it's a key. Nice. Okay. So, our two things that we have to do here, we have to drain the fountain entirely, and then we need to get the reservoir. I'm gonna guess that we have to get it, like, just one below. So, let's start by refilling the greenhouse. So, the greenhouse is 5. Goes through pump 1, tank 1, which that's luckily full right now. So, you, and then bam. And then I guess we'll uncheck that fountain. Fill that. Excuse me? Oh, it's pump 2. I'm dumb. Put you in neutral. Okay, and then now I'm gonna send out the last little bit of water that we can put to the greenhouse. Okay, and then put another from the fountain in there. I think the fountain can also get pump 2, so then we're gonna flip this here. Okay, and then the reservoir also goes through pump 2. So... Oh, this actually works out perfectly. I don't even... Oh, incredible. This... Okay, so we just need to drain the rest of the fountain and then put that all in the reservoir, right? Okay, so then you go like this, and then we turn you on. Oh, that actually worked out pretty well. All I had to do was read a book for about 25 minutes. Okay, and then you... Nope. God damn it. Okay, it's fine. We just have to... Don't mind me. Should have it be at all but 1, right? Not believe we did that. Oh. Boiler room. I don't want to go, like, through the top right side and just see, like, what's available. Grabbing you now. So if I could go into the pool, I would to smash this shit open. Oh, key. Thank you, game. Oh, yeah, we should do the crafting studio. Get another thing permanently in here. And it's the last one. It's the dormitory. Okay. Now there will be no reason to use this room anymore, which I will probably forget. But, you know... Oh, Sledgehammer, hello. We might as well get Treasure Trove again, you know? We get more money each time we draft it. Like, this should have 10 cents in it. I know this doesn't. Green memos in white boxes are always lies, and we know that's true because it's blue. Ah, okay, so the other day I had the treasure trove memos are always true, but it was a green note in a white box, so I need to update that. Green memos in white boxes in treasure trove are always lies. I don't know what this is leading to. I'm not really sure. Anything I can craft? Detector shovel. I don't know if I made this before. Great chance of finding keys and coins and keys. Much greater chance of finding coins and keys while digging. Oh, that's nifty. Love that. Love that kind of stuff. So I think there's nowhere else for us to go. Yeah, so this run is completed, but now we get to go down to the fountain. We might have to go back to what's her face? The nearby. Where's the kitchen at? Okay, the kitchen's kind of down south still. So we should do. Actually, we should go through the boiler room and then security. Because we have to come back here. I would like to potentially. Oh, motherfucker. I guess this helps illustrate the point I was trying to make. I would like to potentially drain the pool and the greenhouse. Because that'd be nice. So where do I actually go? Oh, this is a dead end. Cool. So. Dead rumpus room. I wanted to go to the kitchen to buy the bananas that are in there. Yeah, this is the way. Oh, yeah. Courtyard. Oh, this still works out. Courtyard. Entry. Here. Go to the fountain. I also want to test my theory that there's be coins at the bottom of this here because of the making a wish. Yeah. So I guess you should always, if you can, throw a coin in here because you never know when you'll need it again, you know? It'd be a great way to, like, kind of like the piggy bank, like, you know, get them over time. I knew it. Whoa. I am... Oh, am I controlling this? I don't know if I'm controlling this. Not chat. Say chat, no one's here. No, I'm not controlling this. Okay, so now the boat's on the right side. So now, if I can, we need to get the reservoir to 6, because that was what it said on the one thing that we found the other day. Can I even get to the antechamber? No, I can't. I'm at the door, but I have no way of opening it because I didn't draft anything to open it. Oh my god, am I fucking stuck down here because the power's off? Are you shitting me? Are you actually... No, wait. Nope. I forgot. We have this other way here. Thank God I put this hole in the wall. Brilliant. Okay. So now, go back to the pump room. Fastest way there is the following. Yeah. So straight up until we have the dining room, and then we go over. Okay. So beginning of the 6, so we're at 13 right now. I think what we do... So... Because now we can refill the fountain. So I think what we do is we put 4 in here. Because basically I think we need to get under 6 in order to like then like figure out how we're gonna do it from there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we need to lose 3. So Fountain, let's refill you back up. Get all this water out of here. So if I drain another 4, so if I drain 4, I'll be at 1, 2, we have 5. If I drain another 4, then I'll be at 1. How many is here? 1, 2, 6, 7. I think if we get as much of the reservoir into the fountain, and then we can, I can get this down to like 1, then we can get the greenhouse to fill the rest of this. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is reservoir, pump in. One, two, three, four, 5. So yeah, if I drop it down another 4, we'll be at 1. And 1, 2, 4. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Okay. So then flip the switch. Probably didn't need the force, like the power room and the boiler room to be connected. Or the boiler room and the pump room to be connected. But I think it worked out that way. I forgot to flip the button. No, get your ass in there. Actually, what? So the greenhouse is what? 5. What tank needs to be empty? Tank 1. All right, that's fine. Oh, it's not. The fountain's full. Shit. Well, actually, hold on. If... Okay, so I could do this. So I could pump all this into here, then take that same 4, put it back into tank 2. empty this into that. Okay, I have an idea. I kind of was just wrong in the execution of things, so. Let me. Wait, how much is in here? Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no, this is way easier than I thought. 6. Tank 1 drain into reservoir. Tank 1 drain. Oh, wait, no, that only goes into tank 1. Okay, now we still have the same problem. Okay, so then I need to... Okay, so it's on that one. Need to empty tank 1. Into some more. Then greenhouse. Now... Bang. 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 Hopefully we have enough steps to do all this. I also don't even know what to expect down there. Down. Down, down, down by the river. You're not worth it. And those words bite me in the ass, so... How do I... Hello? I have to go down via... Wait, how did I come up again? Um... I have to turn off the utility closet, or I have to put the power back on. Right? Am I stupid? Oh my god, I'm gonna run out of steps. That's so annoying. I'm YOLO opening 2 lockers that hopefully have some food in them. That's money. That is a battery pack. Gonna eat the batteries. Is the elevator still down there? You know what? We call it a day, and we just do it the first thing in the morrow. That's what we're doing. It's probably obvious as to what to do. I just, like, my brain is, like, overwhelmed. He's facing House of Cogs. Been playing for an hour and a half, and I was reading that one fucking book. Which, like, is cool, and probably contains a clue as to what it means. I could not tell you. Let's go down to the reservoir, or the foundation, and we'll see what happens next. Nothing, really. I used to like this room. Now this room kind of sucks. Oh yeah, that's right. You know it's dramatic because there's a cutscene. We're just gonna... I thought there would be a paddle in here. Why is there no oar or paddle in this boat? And then the rock falls and kills us. And we didn't name a successor. Watch this just be like, it's locked. Let's go to the beach. Let's go get away. Whoa. Safe house underground. Okay, so this is showing the puzzle of the chest room, or the breakable wall, which we already got. So that's our great uncle, that's our mom. I guess that's our dad? Or in the lab? For some kind of celebration? Delete it? Oh, maybe this is something to do in that weird, like, microchip room? Interesting. That's a new puzzle. It's probably a new puzzle, let's be honest. Nothing. Can't look at the fridge. Can I get a grenade launcher? Please? We see what's in the shade of truth. The Royal Museum of the City of Fen. As close as we, it's too easy to track, literally. I've not understood this, like, armory, We got a Sanctum Key. I would like to read this on. It's now been 6 months. 6 months of living in this air-choked cavern of boredom and dread. 6 months since we said our silent goodbyes to our family. 6 months of planning, 6 months of rehearsal, 6 months of heartache, but no regrets. Everyone who knows me immediately thinks I have left the country. Everyone else assumes me dead. And maybe that's all that is left for us. The long walk and steps leading up to the gallows. A steep price to pay for our ideals. I can see, but a price that somehow seems cheaper and less cruel than another 2 fortnights bunkered down here beneath the sand and soot. As I write this, I've never felt so close to the something in my dreams. Tomorrow we will reclaim our birthright. Tomorrow the crown of Orindia will finally return to Oris. The final step is taken half the journey. May the Black Shores guide us. Mary, that's our mom. Our mom's a terrorist? What the fuck is this place? Royal Station. You are here. Oh my god. Platform 8. 8? Room 8? Okay, we're here. We're at 8. Orindia Aries Train Metro. Can we bring power to the train station? I don't know. But our mom appears to be a terrorista. We have our third sanctum key. Oh yeah, we already looked at that. Anything else here? We seek what's in the shade of truth. I have no idea what that means. Incredible. As far as there wasn't like a room to draft from that, you know? Alright, let's go back, I guess. Oh, thank you. It just automatically teleported me here. Alright. That's Sanctum Key number 3. No idea if I'll be able to solve it, but we'll see. We'll go to room number 2. I'm regretting going out of order. Or maybe let's come back down here if we were able to, if we get the boiler room again. What are you? You are a pentagon. Let me look at notes. Pentagon is Ben Aries, and there was an example in one of the books. So Ben Aries, Grand Realm. Oh, it's Rhodes, Foggy, and then Military Red. Okay, so what does this first one do again? Okay, it changes that symbol, so it changes the modes. So Ben Aries in that example, it was military? Or no, Ooh, this is the one I don't know, because I guess I didn't write this down. I wrote Rhodes, Foggy, Military, Red. Maybe it's Marshall, so maybe it's the Upside Down Mountains? Okay, so we're gonna go with that, yeah. And then this one I think is the Rays. If I remember correctly. Yes, it is. Okay, so the Rays were how many Rays were there? Okay, so it's Foggy, so it's I don't know how many Rays there are. I did such a bad job. I need to, like, try to guess, maybe? Okay, I need to look through my notes. Was there any other Ben Aries? Oh, there was the passport. Okay. Okay, so I had... So I did have, ironically, the mountains around the Pentagon, so... 4? I have 4 rays written down here. And then... And then the lightning bolt esque around the circle. This. That is incorrect. No, it could be 4 like this. So let's go back to the correct weather. That is incorrect. I didn't write down how the rays. I put so center pentagon with 4 rays. Rays have 4 horizontal lines. So it's up. Oh, I needed them to be foggy. I missed the 1 that I needed. Okay, I knew there was some way to change the weather. I couldn't remember how to do it. So then... Looking for the lightning bolts again. I think they're after this. I think it's this. Yeah! There we go! Oh, wait, I'm gonna have to do one of these other fucking puzzle boxes again. God damn it. Whoa! Sick. The Royal Museum of the Grand City of Fen. I'm actually writing this last postcard sitting at my desk at home. I suppose I should put forth the extra effort and drop it in the mail for consistency. But I am tempted to save the postmaster trip as it will just wind up here once again, join the other 7. But I'm pleased to report we're all waiting for me on my desk as safe as can be. Flipping through them has reminded me of the many friends I made and lessons learned along the way. As I look back, one truth shines brighter than the others. Air travel is much better than sea travel, Herbert. P.S. Remind Anne to replace the books I lost. Anne! Give me the books! Alright. Yeah, we know how the Moragi books works. We're trying to get orange? Okay, so... Green flips, red. Oh, red's what we're trying to get. Wait, what? Oh, wait, no. You move to the right. And then white becomes gray. And we're trying to get red. Orange does nothing. What does red do? So red takes over gray and... I Okay, I've read up as to what all the tiles do, which that is helpful. Okay, so and then red changes all white tiles to black. All white tiles to black and all black tiles to red. And then ooh. All white tiles to black, and all black tiles to red. And to make all these like gray tiles white, and then press the red button in the middle once they're all in the corners. The question is, how do I do that actually? Okay, I've learned how to make more whites. I misread how the white works. I went back to reread them. Oh, I think it's solvable. I just need to get everything in the corners. No. Oh shit, I think I fucked up. God damn it! Alright, I looked up the solution. I'm done. I also have to go soon, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Fuck that. Oh my god. If I see a puzzle with red, I'm running for the hills. And there's still a whole day ahead, Jesus Christ. Alright, shall we continue on? Also, I've decided I'm going to leave the armory up until we can cut the gem cost from everything, basically. You might as well, with our allowance. The observatory can only be crafted in corners. I went the wrong way, so I'm just gonna commit to it. Got my jump back. Thank you. Are there any safes in the nursery? Anyone? Mother Goose? Oh, we should also see if we can get the classroom outside. Excuse me, I was drinking my iced coffee. Bruh, I cannot get this fucking classroom. I will, however, take the sledgehammer and the magnifying glass. much purpose for, but hey, sledgehammer at least it'll be useful. Let's watch that room again. Observatory? Damn it! Oh, I should have dropped armory. That was stupid. Shut up. All these are dead ends, so that's fabulous. We'll just take a look. TP's me on our way. Drawing room is good here. Wish I had a cutscene button. I need to make sure. Actually, let's redraw these. Beef stew pie. We can get it in the boiler room. Corridor is always unlocked. Bubble. I'll do locksmith here. Don't have money for anything though, so I'm just gonna leave that here. Trunks are still in here, motherfucker. It's all dead ends no matter what. So wine cellar is actually pretty solid here. Good key. Let's go to barn. So back to the store we go, I guess. Hot dog, bugger. I got a rock. Turn up, thank you. Compensates for a little bit of the shit show that's over on the right side of the house. could always use this if need be to put money throughout the house. That if these are nice, we also will get rerolls. Pencil move blocks. Every statement with the word black is false. Comes with the black box. What? So that's false. This is also false. This has to be true, so then they're here. That makes no sense, but whatever you say, game. That's a reroll. Okay, never mind. We're gonna have the opportunity just to do it anyway. Ooh, apple. Thank you. Alright, we have a couple more passcodes that we could try. So start with the wine crest. That was 1213. Okay, there was a December. Oh wait, no, that's the study code. Maid room, there was an 1106. In the dev code, there was a 0901. Well as 0928. No. On the postcard, there was a 0113. There was also a 0301. Cool. Alright. Got nothing. One day we'll find out. I'm gonna check real quick the email here. Since we have this one here, let's turn on the action for the lab. See if we can run an experiment from here. Experiment setup. Yep. Archive floor plan. Add 3 aquariums. Aquariums are good room. Why not? We'll look at the archive room. Well, so that would actually kind of like interfere with the archive room. Um, I'm gonna kind of go as far as I can before I spread the gold around. Roll. Okay, that's perfect. Enjoy your lunch. They're not on rank 5 yet. Okay. No green rooms. The garage will get at least. Um, oh, we have a package that got delivered. Motherfucker. I have to kind of hope that this contains the key card, otherwise it's GG. Odds are not looking great. Car keys, okay. Not totally lost. Now we can go to the car, just right here. I hope that it's in here. Mother. Locksmith, do you, let's just see, like, Locksmith has anything. It won't. We'll also now go ahead. Spectral Estate. Need to win 4 more color games and make 1 more contract. Um, this is gonna be a short one. But I feel like there's enough here to upload at least. You know what? It is what it is. And all you can do is laugh. Let's imagine the key card was just laying here on the top. That'd be great. Special key. This gives me the key card. I'm gonna fall out of my chair. Another lifetime? That would have been great. Didn't drop the code check, did I? No. Just bad luck on this one, you know. Double check. Or that's what I think it is. Yep. We didn't get the thing, the power supply thing. Let's call it a day. And if you watch this, thank you for watching. I will probably be streaming later tonight. Ordinary Villa. Gonna make note of our new sigils. Yeah. Okay, that's gonna be it. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.